Welcome. In front of me I have the ZTE Nubia Red Magic 7, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this actual device. So anyway, just pop it straight open. Okay, so there was basically the unboxing of the device. Now, one thing that I will mention right now is it actually comes with a fairly good charger. So we do have a 65 watt charger. It's a Type-C port on the charger and on the phone as well, obviously. But surprising that it's actually on the charger as well. So it's a fairly good charger. And now we do also have a case, as you've seen. So it looks like this when you put it on. Keeps the, I assume, a vent. I think that's what it is, open. Looks like here we might have another vent. Now I'm going to quickly go through the setup, and while I do so, I'm going to also go over the specs of the phone. So right off the bat, the screen that you're looking at is a 6.8 inch display. It's a 1080p by 2400, so just a typical 1080p display. It is an AMOLED though, with 1 billion colors and 165 hertz refresh rate, so that is actually quite higher than what most of the phones have nowadays, which is 120. This is a little bit higher, and it also has a typical brightness of about 700 nits. I want to skip this. Now, one thing that I will say is throughout the setup process, I can see that it is running at 90 hertz only. So it's not getting that full like 166. But you can quickly change it by just going into the settings right here after the setup has been completed. So all you need to do is go into the display, from here screen refresh rate, and voila, you get the 165 hertz refresh rate. Super blazing fast, which, there we go. So anyway, let's go into the specs of this phone. So apart from the display, obviously we have a triple camera setup at the back. Now this is a gaming phone, so don't expect too much from these cameras. The main sensor is a 64 megapixel wide sensor, then we got an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a sticker camera of 2 megapixel macro. So that last one is just a joke, shouldn't be included in the phone. And overly, honestly, for a gaming phone, I think if they would just put one good camera, that would have been good to go. So you can take photos at any moment that are still decent but have less of a variety, rather than have a crap variety with crap quality. So yeah, obviously, like I said, this is a gaming phone and not really a phone really dedicated for photography, so photos here won't look, for instance, as good as you would expect from other flagship devices or phones at the same price range, because this phone actually obviously caters to a different audience. Now, like I said, I probably would prefer to have something sacrificed just for the better cameras, or at least one good camera, just to have a better overall package that I can utilize in more ways. Now, apart from that, in terms of the internals, we have a Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which I guess doesn't surprise probably anybody. And in terms of like storages, we have the base version, which actually I'm gonna quickly check which one I have. I have the 12 gigs with RAM with 128 gigs of storage. So this isn't necessarily the base, it's the second lowest version. The first one is 128 gigs with 8 gigs of RAM. Then, like I said, 128, 12 gigs, 256, 12, 256, 16, 256 gig storage, 18, and then half a terabyte with 16 gigs. Now the last one is kind of weird that you get half a terabyte with 16 instead of the 18 gigs of RAM. So yeah, though honestly, I don't think phones really need that much RAM. This is more than a typical user's Windows computer has, and most certainly more than a majority of the Mac users have, unless they decided to fork out 1,000 more for like 32 gigs of RAM. But yeah, most of the computers are running on like what, 16 gigs, and that has been good to go for like a decade or so now. So phones running something like 18 seems a little bit, to me, a bit ludicrous. I mean, I guess it's a flex from a company that, hey, our phone has more RAM, but like in the normal circumstances, I don't think anybody will be able to utilize all that RAM. So anyway, so we already went over the storages, the processor in here, the actual display, and lastly, is a couple things. We do have a relatively small battery in here, so this is only at 4,500 milliamp hour, but like I said, we do have a really good charger that charges at 65 watts. And let's see, does it advertise anything? The one thing that I'm seeing on the site, apparently, looks like China has a better version of this with a 120 watt charger, but obviously this is not China, and this is more of a European version of this phone, so it only comes with 65 watts. Boo. But yeah, so phones should charge fairly quickly. Apparently with 120 watt charger, it charges fully in 17 minutes, so let's just double it and call it like 30 to 40 minutes to charge it fully with the 65 watt charger. So it's still blazing fast charger. Now, last thing probably that I'll mention is the skin that is on here. As you can see, we do have some kind of fairly aggressive Android skinning, which might not be to everybody's taste. I'm gonna quickly go over a couple apps just so you can see how they look like. Some of them are stock. This is right now in dark mode though, so if I turn it off, some of the things should look a little bit more common. But the overall like home screen looks a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit too gamery. The font and stuff, like the time, not my cup of tea. I do like gaming, but I just don't like my phone to actually scream, "Look at me, I'm a gamer." So yeah. Ooh, that's actually nice. I just realized we do have a little... Never mind. That seems like a missed opportunity. So here I thought that this is the like silent mode, kind of like OnePlus or iPhones have, but apparently no. They added a dedicated thing for just a gaming mode. I mean, it's cool, but it's cool if you only game on your phone and occasionally use it as a normal, I don't know, phone actually. But for majority of us that don't game all the time and use it mainly as a phone, I think a silent slider would have been a little bit better than a gaming mode. So yeah, we do have these, I don't know how they're called, air triggers. They're basically touch sensitive, as you can see. They don't have any kind of like pop-up functions like some other phones, which I think I would prefer a pop-up version of it. I think, what is it, Xiaomi does it with a pop-up, but I might be wrong. This is still good, obviously better than you would expect. It allows you to just map triggers to some games. But like I said, I think physical buttons feel just much nicer when it comes to playing actual games. And we don't have any kind of... no, we do. Actually, headphone jack right up here. This side looked like a... Nope, that's just a microphone. I thought that it's an IR blaster for like remote controls and stuff like that, but it's not. And yeah, there's not much more to actually see in this phone. So obviously it's a gaming phone. It comes at... No way, it's that cheap. I need to quickly double check. So right now I want to get a look at the actual price of this, because if it comes at around 650 euros, damn, that's actually a really good deal. I mean, even not for a gaming phone, it seems like a good deal just from sheer performance, and you get a charger, you get a really good phone with newest Snapdragon at the moment, decent charging, amazing screen. So just this alone would, in my opinion, be probably worth that much. So yeah, that's actually, if it actually comes at this price. Now I want to see what the actual like pricing is. And actually, yeah, it would look to be relatively along this price range. So this is actually a really good phone all around. Now, some people might not obviously be able to use or not want to utilize things like the triggers right here. It's just a gimmick for people that just look for a decent phone. But for gaming, it's outstanding. And overall, the price of this is actually really good. For about 650 bucks, that is a phenomenal just phone in itself, just as a normal phone with power, performance, storage, RAM, and stuff like that. So yeah, it seems like a really nice phone. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.